All right, and we're live. All right, welcome back to SouFLoTV again, everybody. It is your host with the most. May I wait till at least 100 people roll in. Let me get my reading glasses ready. I don't wear glasses enough, but I'm gonna put these on to block these bright lights from out of my eyes as we go into today's topic. Shout out to the people tuning in this evening. As soon as I start to see some comments in the comment section and some people rolling in, we will start to go into the topic. That one y'all got festive. What I have before me this evening, first of all, big up to all my SouFLoTV subscribers, them, the ones who have subscribed. Some people say, SouFlo, I've been following you for years and I just subscribed after like following you for like 6 years. What's the point? What's the point? How have you been helping me? If you've been following me for 6 years, you have seen 6 years of steady growth. You've seen 6 years of dedication. Dedication to speaking truth. You've seen 6 years of somebody doing their research. When they come out, them step out. And if I lie, me I tell them, come back and tell the people, them say, you know, me that talk something we never go so, but this is what really happened. You know what I'm saying? Credibility. 6 years of that it took for you to finally subscribe. Come on, man. I can't even rejoice when you say, me I follow you for 6 years in a SouFlo, but me subscribe now. I need some water. Pardon me, I'm running a little bit late, but that's okay. That's a Jamaican thing. You know, say, when you want Jamaicans to be early, if the party starts 8 o'clock, tell them say the party starts 7 o'clock or 6:30. They will be showing up at 8. So we're fashionably late. But we're there. Don't bother with the calling them yet. Hold on there, hold on there. Oh, God. All right, listen. Let me take that one here. Hi, welcome to SouFLoTV. You're live on the air. All right, we're not going to be doing that today. If you're going to be calling in, please be on point. Have your whatever device you're listening to, have that device turned down and be prepared to speak up. All right, we're loud and clear with elocution over here so everybody can hear. All right, I'm waiting for the numbers to build up because more on people to hear this, and I don't want to repeat myself. This is going to be quite lengthy. So mix your drinks, sit down with your drinks, pour your glass of wine. If you are drinking some mixed drinks, bust or something, whatever you're doing, do it right now. Roll up where you roll up, light up and sit down and take this in. This is the full court document, okay? The layout of the case. What we're talking about I would actually call him a prominent, mainstream. You don't need mainstream to be prominent and famous and popular anymore. All right, the internet has cut that out. Some people mad about that because you didn't have to go through them to build a platform anymore. The world has changed. Just like how major record companies are pissed off that all these young artists are making so much money independently because the world has changed. The internet has knocked out the so-called major record companies. Well, are the same thing over here, so. All right. So what we are talking about, I would call him prominent. I would call him very popular and very famous. We're talking about Mr. Handsome. See? And Mr. Handsome boy. All right. Somebody specifically out of Georgia, big up to Claudette, link up and say, SouFlo, this is a lot of people, you know, a lot of people that say, SouFlo, you know, say this. But they keep saying Mr. Vegas and Mr. Vegas exposed this person, exposed that person. I'm saying to myself, rotten. Mr. Vegas claims that him exposed me before, and it was a bag of lies, right? So what kind of expose am I exposed now? I'm not the one that's into tearing people down, and I want everybody to understand that, please, this live, I have a second computer, I sit down and talk to you upon the neck. This is how important this is. I have never done this before. I've never gotten another computer out. I want to read directly from the court documents to you exactly how this case unfolded so everybody get a clear understanding and nobody can lie to nobody anymore. All right. People are calling me, SouFlo, you need to talk about this. No, man, big pedophile there in Jamaica, him escape foreign, and him there in Jamaica do the same thing and him get caught up again. And Mr. Vegas expose him. And they seem like nobody is messing with him. They make him go and do him thing. I said, this is serious. I have to go look this up. Because I'm a father of 6. I'm in a like no pedophile, a born pedophile both here. Right? Run pedophile from both here. All right. I went and looked at the videos that she sent me first, and first I saw a clip of Mr. Vegas claiming to expose him. Somebody named Flawless that he is very close to or was very close to. I watched their video as well, and then I watched Mr. Handsome's own account exposing himself. Him say, all right, since they are going to try to expose me and make me look a certain kind of way, me, I gotta tell everything. I have one problem with that. One problem with that. Him never tell everything. Him never tell everything. There's a specific part where he said, if you can read, if people can read, they will see that I wasn't guilty of anything. I wasn't convicted of anything. And why am I free now? And after I reached to Jamaica, I still got papers together and fly out to England. But if I was guilty, I wouldn't have been able to do that. I don't know how he was able to do that. Because the court documents that I have is going to reveal something else. Please, people, understand this. We're not in the business of tearing down people. We could have looked into this long time ago and dashed this out long time ago and come here and ridicule and point finger and all these things. It wasn't my thing to do. But SouFLoTV is a platform that is run by its subscribers. So when so many subscribers said, do something, this topic, I have to go. It's a supply and demand thing. So I have to do this topic. All right. Boom. My number, I'm waiting for 800 and I've hit the 800. Here we go. Herbalist there. Big up yourself, family. Great seeing you alive, SouFLoTV. Happy to catch you alive. Blessings, my brother. Manners and respect, right? Here one. This paperwork is New York City Court paperwork. People versus Parnell LaSalle. This is from the appeal court, which means that he actually appealed the decision. Decided on December 29th, 2011. Supreme Court of the State of New York. Appellate term, 2nd, 11th, 13th Judicial District, present Steinhard, JP, Pesce, and Weston, JJ 2010/7 KCR. Stuff that means nothing to us. All right. The people of the state of New York respond against LaSalle, Parnell, the appellant. That means he was appealing the decision. All right. I don't know if the man was appealing the decision after being found guilty, because sometimes you're found guilty for something, and then because you're not a citizen and the nature of what you were found guilty for, your crime, you're then placed on an immigration hold. You're placed on an immigration hold and allowed to appeal and allowed to fight your case before you are deported or you decide to self-deport. I'm not taking a call right now. Let me turn this down. I ain't taking no calls right now. Right now, I'm going to read through the documents. All right, my mouth dry. I was in the sun all day. I was in the pool all day. So pardon me, drinking water. But I'm going to read you the directly from the court documents. Listen, all right? Listen, and then you form your own opinion. You won't need no opinion when this is done, though. This was pretty much decided. Appeal from a judgment of the Criminal Court of the City of New York, Kings County, William L. McGuire Jr., J., rendered October 16, 2009, and an order of the same court, date October 16, 2009. The judgment convicted defendant upon a jury verdict. Convicted the defendant upon a jury verdict of forcible touching, 3 counts. Sexual abuse in the 2nd degree, 3 counts. Sexual abuse in the 3rd degree, 3 counts. I treat different something them there now. Endangering the welfare of a child, 2 counts. And aggravated harassment in the 2nd degree. The order, following a hearing, designated defendant a level 3 sex offender pursuant to Correction Law Article C. Now we're gonna get into what went on in court, how somebody was convicted, what kind of evidence was brought forth, and the evidence that was used to convict this person is described in this court paperwork. All right. How to reach us up? How did I get here? Before me start this, let me just say this off the bat. You know, when people feel like they have something against you or something they can hold and use it to like bribe you, hold you, the flawless person there. Come and listen to Mr. Handsome explain everything and tell upon himself and everything. He wasn't 100% truthful though, which kind of, if you're going to be truthful, you're going to have to be 100% truthful. If you're remorseful, you will be 100% truthful. Don't tell people like me, but if you can read, you will see that I was not convicted of everything. Come here, we're going to dig up the files them, and we can read. The file said you were convicted, and not only were you, but you were also registered as a level 3 sex offender. But we're going to get into the details of how they come to this. Before we go to that though, all this happened. I hear the man explain himself. I hear him talking about he is, hi babe, thank you for being here. My wife is in here. Shakira Sphere. Hit the like button, please. She says, wifey there. All right, Mr. Handsome is himself frigate. I don't know if y'all hear the story about how he got caught recently because somebody tried to bribe him. Now, mind you, take into consideration, right, because he said it out his own mouth. This is somebody that is engaged to a woman. He also said, I think he said he had 4 daughters by 4 different women, or something like that, 3 daughters by 3 different women, 4 daughters by 4 different women, plus he's engaged to a particular woman right now. With all that going on, a fiance and everything, and a whole heap of girl picked me by a whole heap of different woman, them catch up on camera. Again, screenshot you and are now bribing you with it. People, me get catch already. Me did young and wild one time, and me get catch already. And when me get catch, you see, try some Rasta people grow up to, and some conscious people. Me got to the dread bongo, and I say, bongo, boy, why if you catch me now? And the Ras say, she catch her the what? She catch me a cheat. Him say, is a man or a woman she catch her a cheat with? Me say, it's a woman, it's a girl, a next girl. Him say, all right, brother, you don't have nothing for her about. It's Mr. Wonderful case, Mr. Handsome case though. The person who he got caught with on the cell phone is a boy. Okay. I'm not here to judge the man of his sexuality. The rumors that are going around is that the person he got caught with on the phone in Jamaica is a minor. It turns out, as far as his explanation goes, it wasn't a minor. The person was 21 years old at the time. Them did their exchange crutches picture, and you know the world what we live in. You know the world we live in. Nobody has to leave the house to cheat or to engage anybody anymore. People go FaceTime right now and undress and just do them thing, screen to screen, computer to computer. Him did I carry on one of them freaky scene there with a youth. A youth. The youth screenshot him and say, you're somebody who's making a lot of money. So me I go, me need 200,000 Jamaican dollar right now, else me I go release this to everybody. All right. This is from his own talking. See? The part that got me about his story was him pay up some money. Them say, all right, this is the end of it. Now go bother blackmail you no more or nothing. Lo and behold, a day passes where he gets a phone call, and the phone call is from the same person who bribed him earlier. Me mash up on me there hospital. Have nobody here to be there for me. If somebody did something like that to you, right? Your first thought is, I'm jumping in my car and driving down to the hospital to go help this person? Or your first thought is, no, me kind of understand why I'm going to the hospital, you know. I'm going to the hospital because he really wants to see the face of who this is. Because apparently they were only seeing each other's crutches before. They weren't seeing each other's face. So now I'm going to see exactly who it was that bribed you and you paid all this money to. Him talk, him tell him story. Very uncomfortable when him talk about how him reached down there and them cut off him clothes off for him and him naked. I mean, my wife, you know, sit down and watch this, you know. And the two of we look at each other at the same time. Because the way how the man said he was naked with no underwears. And it just come in like a man we are talking about him see a sexy body woman with no underwear. So fish if you want to call him fish, big whale out to sea if you want to call him that, swimmer, whatever you want to call him. He's that. He's that. And in no direct terms, he admitted it, but not directly. You see me? He said, he's struggling. Let he who's without sin cast the first stone. There's something about him that is wrong and only God can fix it, and he's praying about it and he's left it to God. Who am I to jump in on him and God business? Right? From his between two consenting adults. This is SouFLoTV, the platform where we say we are the Jamaicans that are a bit different. We're not overly concerned about people's sexuality. It doesn't bother us. That's not something that we're concerned about. We have bigger fish to fry. No pun intended. All right. All that talk the way my talk. You're there hospital with man, them cut off robies, they're laying naked in no underwears and everything. And then him say him go out underwear shopping. And me I said to wife, he said, man, I go shopping for man underwear, and Jesus Christ. Okay, so he's basically saying that he's bisexual then. He is bisexual and he's trying to pray the demons. This is a typical Jamaican thing, believe it or not. The Jamaican bottom on them, enough of them, either them parents are trying to exorcise demons out of them, or them carry them go church, or they themselves have been told to pray hard enough and pray it away. And them say all the pray, them are pray, but it's still upon them mind. All the pray, them are pray, but it's still upon them mind, man, body. All the pray, them are, what them call it again? I remember Boosie saying it's called Boosie, or Bussy. That's that man pussy. But anyhow, after them, whatever tickles your fancy, and I'm not in your thing, see? And I'm not here to infringe upon your lifestyle or to judge, jury, and execution of you. This all turns out to be a money thing. Remember, I know we have the court documents. We're going to go through it. We're going to go through it. I don't want nobody say, yo, SouFLo, or you sit down here and defend a pedophile and this and that. That's not what I'm doing. I don't want to destroy anybody. But I feel like if you're going to come clean, if you're going to then ask for forgiveness and put this before God and all these things, then at least admit to what you did. You can't keep on saying, no, and if you can read, you will see that nothing happened and I wasn't guilty. And you have to admit your guilt. That's the first part to becoming a better person. Remember, we talked about this on SouFLoTV in the mornings on our morning thoughts. We have to be able to look ourselves in the mirror and say, you know, so you're a fucked up person. You know, so something wrong with you. You know, so the way how you treat people is not right. And then you have to be able to look by yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, self, I have to fix this. This part of me I have to fix. This part of me, I realize that there's a problem here. If you cannot look at yourself in the mirror and tell the truth, then chances are you're not really sorry. You're just sorry so you get catched. Chances are you're probably going to be repeating those behaviors. You understand? Now, this goes from something similar in New York, where he got caught up, to him repeating the same offense in Jamaica. This time, though, in Jamaica, it was somebody of legal age, of consent. All right. Me not let nobody off the hook. Mr. Vegas, I think Mr. Vegas did this because he got contacted by people who were once friends with Mr. Handsome. Remember, Bob Marley said, only your friends know your secret, so only he could reveal it. Them I did friend. Them I did real good friend. And them know some things about him and them take he use against him. The thing that happened in New York, they already know about that. So what they were doing was hanging this over his head, and they were saying that if we tell the same story upon you now and repeat it, everybody is going to believe it because what you've been into before. See? So them are name out the man money, them are hold him hostage, they're trying to rob him or they are robbing him because I make good money. See? He's making good money. And them want some of the good money. Yeah, babe. Let me come open the door for you. Let me come open the door. Wife, you give me some water. No, hold on there. Yeah, come. I don't want Kai keep running in here. Thank you, babe. Look there. I turn celebrity. Me have a water girl. Come and refill my cup and my glass and these things. Why? The thing that's going on with Mr. Wonderful and Mr. Vegas and Mr. Vegas are going like him and expose the man and all these things. The thing that happened in Jamaica, it was by somebody that is our age of consent. So basically him come out and tell everybody, say, by him saying he has a weakness. And but me I said to myself, though, brother, you're engaged. And you have multiple children by multiple different women. Remember, I said this on SouFLoTV, Morning Thoughts. Me said, when you see enough of them youth here and them man here, one bag of woman behind them or beside them or them are run through one bag of woman just to prove, say, me a gallus and all this. You can tell that they don't, and a woman them really want. They try so hard, they overcompensate. So every girl me touch me a breed her. So me I make sure me have whole heap of picnic out there. So when people say, yo, about the man, them can say, see 4 picnic them there, 4 different girls too. And me have whole heap of woman too. Even in his own video, he said women still come to his house. And when the women come to his house, them not come there to play a dolly house. Because him sort them out and send them up. That means that he's still having sexual relations with women while seeking a sexual relationship with men as well. All right? All right. So, MB, him there on the borderline. Remember when Shabada did say that? This is Mr. Wonderful. Him there on the borderline. That is established. Theme business, that's not what this is about. This now, what me want to get into is about the court case. How you end up back at Jamaica. That case that you had in New York, is it true? Was it an underage youth? Was it a child? And what exactly took place? Because your claim, sir, anybody that can read will see that you didn't get catch for nothing. And you're not guilty. All right. Here goes the paperwork now. Appeal from a judgment of the Criminal Court of New York City. Order that the judgment of conviction is affirmed, and it is further ordered that the order is affirmed without cause. The people filed an information charging defendant with 3 counts of forcible touching, penal law. I'm going to skip them part of the penal law, Article 130.52 and all that, because that don't mean nothing to us. But I'm going to read out the charges. The people filed an information charging defendant with 3 counts of forcible touching, 3 counts of sexual abuse in the 2nd degree, 3 counts of sexual abuse in the 3rd degree, and all of them list the penal law code 130.55 and all that. 2 counts of endangering the welfare of a child, aggravated harassment in the 2nd degree, and 2 counts of harassment in the 2nd degree based on his conduct towards a 13-year-old male. A court papers may I read, okay? These are court papers. This is not somebody send me this, I write it, I say SouFLo, and this go on, no. This is legal document court papers. All right, we are go through the case here now. Let me put on my glasses and go in there like Matlock. When we did little, them used to play a Matlock on TV and them something about it. See that? 2 counts of harassment in the second degree based on his conduct towards a 13-year-old male that involved sexual contact, exhibiting to the child. Let me read it out for them. All these charges, the sexual abuse in the second degree, the forcible touching, 2 counts of endangering the welfare of and aggravated harassment, 2 counts of harassment on top of that in the second degree, based on his conduct towards a 13-year-old male that involved sexual contact, comma, exhibiting to a child a sexually explicit video, comma, and other communications of an hysterics to explicitly sexual nature. At the commencement of the jury trial, the criminal court granted the people's motion to dismiss the 2 counts of harassment in the second degree after the trial, which included a victim's narrative testimony of defendant's sexual conduct, the admission into evidence of the video, which had been recovered from a laptop a laptop computer that the defendant had produced to the police as his personal property, and the testimony of a forensic psychologist on the subject of adolescent sexual abuse syndrome. What's up? The jury convicted the defendant of all of the remaining counts. All right. So let's see which 2 left out. We're going to say the rest that he was convicted of. Sexual contact, sexual intercourse. 13 years old, a 13-year-old boy. Part of the evidence in this came from a video. All right. Look, boy, turn over a video to police on him phone, right? So see the video here, officer. Man have him teely out. See there, feel up himself and everything, and him this him show to me and send to me. All right. When they confiscated his laptop, it was the same video that was on the laptop. After sentence was imposed and a hearing held, defendant was designated a level 3 sex offender. On appeal, this is part 2. On appeal, is a legal document this, it's pretty lengthy. On appeal, the defendant argues first that playing the video repeatedly to the jury, the video was played 3 times according to the defendant, but only twice according to the actual record. In his appeal, he says that them playing this video over and over in court served only to inflame the jury's passion and was of questionable evidentiary value, given that it was not proven that it was the defendant who had committed the sexual act that was depicted in that video. However, the victim asserted that the defendant had informed him that the defendant was the actor in the video. The 13-year-old boy come up in a court and say, yes, him tell me said that him, this is him in the video playing with himself like this and showing it to me. All right. This is what was in the video. However, the victim asserted that the defendant had informed him that the defendant was the actor in the video, which depicted a male masturbating and performing other sexual acts or acts of sexually explicit nature in that video. In any event, it is irrelevant for the commission of the crime of endangering the welfare of a child whether the identity of the person in the video is known. Although played more than once to the jury, the video evidence was the basis of one of the 2 counts of endangering the welfare of the child, e.g. People versus Velez 190, miscellaneous 2D 206, all that don't mean nothing to him. I'll skip past that. And as a general rule, photographs and similar evidence are admissible if they tend to prove or disprove a dispute of material issue, to illustrate or elucidate other relevant evidence, or to corroborate or disprove some other evidence offered or to be offered, and should be excluded only if those sole purposes is to arouse the emotions of the jury and to prejudice the defendant. Now, let me pause right here so and say something. If they pull a video out like this on you, right? You don't go saying in your defense that this video gonna play too much in the courtroom. Why y'all ran the video 3 times? Y'all did that just to inflame the jury so they could be biased against me. That's not what you say. You say unequivocally, that kind of me in that video there, I don't have nothing to do with that video there. Don't it? Your defense shouldn't be, this is on appeal. This is after being labeled a level 3 sex offender and he's fighting this. Your defense shouldn't be, your defense should not be, y'all played the video too many times, so the jury is going to be biased because it's like tugging at their heartstring. You know what I'm saying? All right. Why? As a general rule, photographs and similar evidence are admissible if they tend to prove or disprove a dispute of material issue, to illustrate or elucidate other relevant evidence, or to corroborate or disprove some of the evidence offered or to be offered, and should be excluded only if the sole purpose is to arouse the emotions of the jury, to prejudice the jury against the defendant. And then them give some examples of cases gone by before, People versus Pobliner, 32 NYD, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to skip all that. The record does not indicate that the defendant timely objected to the second playing of the video. That means that them played it in a court 2 times, and there was no objection while he was in court, and it was being played to the court. All right. The defendant does not deny that playing such a video to a 13-year-old, the defendant does not deny that playing such a video to a 13-year-old commits the offense. Further, that's exactly what I said. Further, the criminal court instructed the jury that it was to consider the evidence solely in relation to only one of the 2 counts of endangering the welfare of the child. And it is presumed that the jury understood and followed these instructions. Again, People versus Berg, 29 NYD 2D 294-299-300 1983, and People versus Bobrowski, 23 miscellaneous. I'll skip all them long law jargon and get back to what we understand. Having raised no objection to the charge and having requested no amendment or amplifications, the defendant is deemed to have acquiesced to the charge as given. Now, after the close of evidence and immediately before summation, the defense purported to have discovered by reference to a web page connected to the victim that the victim had admitted that he was on consenting age when allegedly victimized by the defendant's conduct. After the close of evidence and immediately before summations, the defense purported to have discovered by reference to a web page that is connected to the victim that the victim had admitted that he was of consenting age when allegedly victimized by defendant's conduct. What that sounds like to me is that at some point, this 13-year-old must have said, I am of legal age. I am at the age of consent. I want like a boy, but I'm 13. And at some point, he must have said he was of legal age. Misleading. You know, it's like a girl meet a man and she not tell the man that she is 16 because she put on her makeup and she do her lashes and her hair and everything. And he met her in a place where it was grown people meeting there. So he automatically assumed that this girl we meet at the club and bring home last night. You know, when you're young and you live wild, someone old and live wild fame with. But you bring home somebody from the club and you're expecting, a big people club me go last night, right? So the woman when having at the car when I carry home go Beats. Is a big woman. Must be of legal age. I mean, she look kind of young, but be sure she's of legal age. Turns out the kid was 13. Take it how you want, take it. The defense sought to recall the victim to confront him with this evidence. The defense sought to recall the victim to confront him with this evidence. This is him in appeal, and this was part of his defense, saying that at some point, that youth here told me that he was of legal age. So he sought to recall the victim to confront him with this evidence. The court did not improvidently exercise its discretion in denying the motion. The trial court is vested with wide latitude to determine the admissibility of evidence, to control the conduct of a trial, and to keep the proof within admissible bounds. Consistent with the authority, a court has discretion to permit or deny a party's application to reopen the evidentiary portion of the case. Among the factors to be considered are the source of availability of the evidence, its probative significance with respect to material trial issues, and prejudice owing to associated delay in producing the evidence and adjournments to produce it. Again, legal jargon. Lagana versus French 145 AD 2D 451 1988. See also Spielberg versus Nitschke. Here. The defense failed to exercise due diligence in discovering the evidence which concededly had been available prior to the trial. That was a burden on his attorney. The defense, this is what the court deemed, that the defense failed to do their due diligence in discovering this evidence that had been available prior to the trial. Now, further exploring the issue would have required that the child victim would have to come and testify a second time. Not only would additional testimony be presumptively detrimental to the victim, which is the 13-year-old, but generally, the orderly presentation of proof requires that every witness be questioned in the first instance on all relevant matters of which he or she has knowledge and be excused at the completion of this testimony in the interest of the judicial economy and the ability of counsel to keep the jury's attention on the salient facts of the case. All right. So here he is trying to appeal. So I'm come back now, and one of his thing was, listen, this is a setup because the person didn't tell me they were 13. I found out after the fact, and I have proof. Call him back again. The court says no. We don't want this 13-year-old victim coming back again to testify again, dragging him through the courts again. We got what we got already. So in case go. In any event, the defense failed to establish that the evidence was of sufficient probative value to merit the relief sought. Both the victim and his mother testified to the victim's birth date, and such testimony is competent to prove the fact. One bag of legal jargon, people versus Scott, people versus Bolden, people versus Bassetti, on and on. Both the victim and his mother testified in court to the victim's birth date, and such testimony is competent to prove the fact. Although the victim's testimony contains some contradiction, this is what the court papers are saying. The victim's testimony, the liquor boy testimony, had some contradictions in it. Although the victim's testimony contained some contradiction, it was not so incredible as to be unworthy of belief. And again, People versus Jackson 148, And the jury had the opportunity to observe the victim as he was telling the story and to determine in part from his physical appearance whether his testimony and the testimony of his mother as to his date of birth should be credited. Finally, evidence may be excluded if the court deems it to be limited probative value, comma, too remote or too speculative, comma, or if its admission would obscure the main issues or confuse the jury. Defense counsel did not state that she was offering the evidence to impeach the victim's general credibility, or even specifically to defeat an element of the offenses, but to establish a motive to falsely accuse the defendant as to the entirety of the abused conduct alleged, a matter that was purely speculative, is what the court said. So, in other words, his defense, when they went to fight against this thing here to appeal it, the court is basically saying, listen, y'all don't have a leg to stand on. Okay? We also find no error. I'm getting to the last part, last portion. This is a legal document that we're going through. Bear with it. We also find no error in admitting expert testimony to which the defense in general voiced no objection. The expert specifically denied having any knowledge as to the specifics of the accusations against the defendant, of the victim's personal characteristic, the victim's trial testimony, or the penal law generally. Now, further, the defense did not object to most of the expert's testimony that might be construed as applicable to matters bearing on the victim's overall credibility. So, expert, did they testify on him now? Said nothing. He's not objecting anything. On his behalf, his defense is not objecting anything. Indeed, on cross-examination, defense counsel posed a number of hypotheticals which explored precisely the issue addressed by defendant on the appeal. Thus, these claims are largely unpreserved. In any event, the claim of error lacks merit. This is what the court decided. In his case, in any event, the claim of error lacks merit. As a general rule, a court has discretion to allow expert testimony as to the conduct of victims of sexual abuse that are outside of the general knowledge of a typical juror. Again, a whole heap of legal jargon. And these reactions include matters involving the nature and causes of a victim's post-incident behavior, such as concealment, the inability to recall even salient events due to repression or anxiety, confusion as to time and date, and ambivalence regarding his or her relationship with the abuser. Expert testimony regarding this child sexual abuse accommodation syndrome and the associated symptoms have been held appropriate where necessary to explain behavior that might appear unusual or that the juror might not be expected to understand. So they had an expert in here. The expert basically testified their findings after talking to this youth, going through his story, seeing what happened, hearing his side, the 13-year-old side of everything, and his parents. Your parents are gonna say, say my child never used to give trouble before this. I knew something was off when the child started doing this and that and the other. Yeah. So here comes the expert. All these were admitted in court. All these were accepted. Expert testimony regarding the child sexual abuse accommodation syndrome and the associated symptoms have been held appropriate where necessary to explain the behavior that might appear unusual or that the juror might not be expected to understand, to rebut the defendant's attempt to impair the credibility of the victim, for example, by evidence that they had not promptly complained. That they had not promptly complained. Now, while the expert's testimony may have implicated considerations underlying fact finders' evaluations of the truth and accuracy of testimony and may impact its determinations as to credibility and evidentiary weight, such commentary is generally proper and does not constitute inadmissible bolstering of a victim's testimony. Why? I'm almost done with the legal paperwork, but at the end of it, though, when it says this is not a case where testimony was admitted to establish that because the sexual abuse victim exhibited behavior consistent with patterns of response exhibited by victims of proven child sexual abuse, that this was more likely than not the victim had been sexually abused. This is what the expert testified. Defendants claimed that the evidence was legally insufficient to support the conviction. This is his defense. This evidence was legally insufficient to support the conviction and is largely unpreserved for appellate review and in any event is without merit. In her motion to dismiss, defense counsel limited her argument with respect to legal sufficiency solely to the main and the victim's testimony, as the dates when the abuse occurred was so indeterminate or inconsistent as to render the proof insufficient. So in other words, what they were banking on was the 13-year-old was not able to remember specific days. But the expert was saying that sometimes when people are sexually abused, especially children, they have a problem recalling specific days. All right? Listen to the man defense where him going there with. The victim can't remember the wrong day, the right days that anything happens, so throw it out. That means they must be lying. The standard of review for determining whether the evidence presented at trial was legally sufficient to support a conviction is whether the evidence viewed in the light most favorable to the people could lead any rational trier of fact to conclude that the element of the crime had been proven beyond a reasonable doubt. The overwhelming import of the victim's testimony is that the offenses occurred within the time frame that they were alleged to have occurred, which testimony was corroborated by the proof that of the sexually explicit video that was made by the defendant himself as the actor, according to the 13-year-old victim, existed and had been accessed within the time frame it was alleged with respect to the relevant count of endangering the welfare of a child, and had been recovered from a computer that the defendant claimed to be his personal property. The expert witness testified that the child sexual abuse victim may commonly be precise about dates, and there that the testimony as to dates was generally consistent with that alleged in the accusatory instrument, and the defendant does not argue that the dates alleged wherein were too broad to effectively change the offenses. At the end of the day, since the defendant raised no issue with the respect to the other designating him a level 3 sex offender, the order is affirmed. Stephen or Steinhardt JP, Pence and Weston JJ concur. Decision date December 29th, 2011. It stands a level 3 sex offender. There's a last part here to it, but it's all bare legal jargon and reference to other cases, how they came to the decision that they came to. We find that the judgment of conviction was not against the weight of the evidence. The testimonies of the people's witness appear truthful in their face, are internally consistent as to material fact, and notwithstanding mirror discrepancies with respect to the victim's ability to establish a precise chronology as to the specifics events of the abuse, which occurred several times over a 4 to 5 month period. The jury could properly credit the people's witness as to the fact necessary to support the convictions. We have considered the defendant's remaining contentions and find them to be without merit. Accordingly, the judgment of conviction is affirmed. It happened for several times over a 4 to 5 month period. In his appeal, the court basically says that we have considered the defendant's remaining contentions and we find them to be without merit. Accordingly, the judgment of conviction is affirmed. Since defendant raises no issue with respect to the order, designated him a level 3 sex offender. All right. Now, that's the whole case. That's the man whole case. So for anybody that is guessing, or for anybody where I make up stuff and don't really know, I think for Mr. Handsome, boy, I'm sit down and watch a video. I'm not in the business of tearing people down. I watched the video. This one bag of God talk and Jesus, this, and put it before the Lord and in the hands of the Lord. I don't know. I just find it weird that people always do this type of stuff, and then it's lean on Jesus. And then it's he without sin cast the first stone. And then it's, me hear one lady describe this new video. Now, mind you, I'm not talk about the new video too much because it is said that the youth is of age of consent. 21 when it happened, he's 22 now. So to me, although they are both, good away there, that's their business. That was between two consented adults. I tell you a long time, man, said Jamaica full up of them. Like enough little youth at Jamaica jump across the fence just because they want money or they want clothes and things, and enough of them don't want to go work. Them don't want butter, them bleach out them skin, them tweeze up them eyebrow, them pants tighter than the girl, them tights, and yeah, they're engaging in things with men. I've seen some sick videos come out of Jamaica. Sick. Gunman, a ride man. And gun in a man mouth, and man a suck off gun on them. So we know, long time, and my wife is my witness. Come, I watch them something by myself when them come in, People send them, SouFlo, watch out. I'm not concerned about what they were trying to call him out on. I think they were really trying to bribe him, and they were really trying to get money up out of him. And because him said, forget it, man, I've done everything right, that's all. You want to tell upon me, I'll tell upon myself. Okay. That's a tactic that's often used. You can't call me ugly, because I call myself ugly all the time. Me even make ugly joke. So you can't call a person that ugly, you understand? It's like the fat person that's grossly overweight, and they come with all the fat jokes. So you can't call, oh, you fat, you funny, you way overweight. They say those jokes all the time already. So it's like a defense kind of thing. However, him not tell the truth 100%. The truth is that, Mr. Handsome, you were convicted. You were tried by a jury. You were convicted. They have evidence that they convicted you on. Hard evidence that came from your laptop. Laptop owned by you that they used to convict you. So stop going around talking about if people can read them, will see that. No, you tried to appeal it by saying that you didn't know that the youth was 13. I said to myself, say, all the women here go up on the yard and they must say, yo, when women come to my house, you know, them not come to play dolly house, you know. Sort them out and send them up. I said to myself, say, boy, poverty is a hell of a thing. Or money is a hell of a thing, because women are going yard. So the woman them nowadays no mind sleep with man or sleep with other man. And he talk about how Flawless would run where any woman will come around him and these kind of things. That's a for them thing. A friend turn enemy that. I honestly believe that they were trying to rip him off, and he found out, and these were people he thought were going to be loyal to him, and they weren't. And they know about his court case in New York, so they held that over his head, as in, if I tell the same story on you again, it's going to seem credible. The only problem is this time, though, him have fiance, you know. So you can imagine your fiance, your ladies, you can imagine your fiance, your man, who you're engaged to. You love so much, you engage him and get ready for marry him and all these things. And here he is playing sword fight on the phone with some next man. You're going to feel a way about it. Me hear one woman describe one of the video them. Man spread out upon all fours and I spread out them body hole and doing all kind of things. Me don't want to see it. Me don't want to see it. Me don't even want to see it. From the description alone, I'm good. I don't want to see it. But be truthful, bro. Be truthful. If you're really seeking forgiveness, be truthful. See? Now, let me say this. Me as a father, we have my youth them. I can't side with no pedophile. And I know people are going to say stuff like, you know, the Jesus and the Holy Bible stumpers and thumpers and all these. They're going to say, you must forgive like how Jesus forgives 70 times 7 and all this. But I tell people this all the time. That's Jesus forgiving. That's their God forgiving. Because if me have my 13-year-old son and something like this took place, there would be no forgiveness on my part. You have to go deal with that with you and your God, but me have a different kind of way I want to deal with you. You know what I'm saying? Tell me if I talk truth. Everybody is ready to forgive and say, yes, forgive, and he without sin cast the first stone. And that is until it's your 13-year-old, though. That is until it's your 13-year-old. So when you see other people picking to get molested off and stuff, and I talk about forgive, because the person called the Lord name and the name of the Lord and giving it to the God, and God can sort this out for me. It's softened on the heart, because I'm religiously indoctrinated. So that's not going to work for me. That's not going to work for me. you definitely have a problem. You definitely have a type. You're like young boys. All these women that you're having children or getting children from and all this, those are his beards. But I'm not judge you. May I tell you what me see? Because of all that is out there factually in front of us, both what you said yourself and what I just read in those court documents. You understand? These are legal court documents, the whole case. You're like, man, I did a morning thoughts not too long ago, you know, I'm say, yo, listen to me. I'm all about transparency. You see the climate where we create that force people to hide who they are, that's not beneficial for any of us. That's why so much of the woman end up with man, we're like man. Because we have created that climate where them feel like they have to go hide. They're not gonna no longer exist. They're just gonna hide and still do them thing. And then you become a victim of it. Because he's gonna grab one of you and be like, yeah, you know, and start a relationship and even have children with you and all this, just to prove to the community or the world at large that man a gallus. No gay thing to me thing. No man to me thing. You can't call me name upon them thing there. And you really will sit there and be like, oh, yeah, no man, Mr. Handsome, whole heap of girl that have. You see a woman go up on yard and trash them out, man, send them back. Whole heap of girl around there. It's a facade. It's a facade. And I've said this before. Enough of the man them where you say with one bag of woman. And that go on. So how about we create the environment where these people can come out and be themselves? And respect the fact that they are out and being themselves. I say, hey man, that's how you are. Right, I see you from a distance. I see who you are. Right? Leave it at that. I'm not here to govern nobody's life. Me don't want nobody govern my life. One life me get to live, and I try to live it to the best of my ability. And I don't know nobody when dead and come back, come tell me about wait till you get to the other side. It's so exciting. Or hey, this is my second time around. I'm coming back again. We don't know nothing like that. Everybody who we lost, God, none of them never came back. So me know somebody on a one-way trip, and I'm not trying to mess up anybody else's one-way trip. So make the people them live how them want to live. You just steer clear of that and live your way, and it shouldn't be your business. But you see, when the children are involved, though, that's a whole different friggin' story. Him have a type. Him have a type. Him like young boys. By his own account, he's 52 years old now. We're in 2021, 2011, roughly 10 years ago. So he was 40-something years old then. And a 13-year-old. Boy, I don't know. And I keep saying I'm not in the business of tearing people down. I don't know how his audience, his followers, his subscribers, his supporters, I don't know how they're going to react. I don't know if they're going to run away and left him, if they're going to abandon him, his income is going to dry up. I don't know, because this is the backlash. This is the backlash. You know what I'm saying? People say, oh, blood clean. I never know say I saw SouFLo stay cut. Yo, I never listen to that boy no more. Jesus Christ. I saw him really stay. And then leave you. Or some people will say, geez, man, you have your demons a fight, brother. But we are going to stand by you anyway. And you know, some people say, I'm not into his personal life. I just like his comedy. So I'm going to keep on watching and supporting his comedy. I don't know what the outcome of that is going to be. Whatever it is, I hope the brother gets some healing. Because a healing him say I pray for. I hope him find that healing that he's praying for. But it starts with honesty. You hear what I say? I hope he gets the healing he's praying for, but it starts with honesty. Be honest. Stop saying if people could read, they would see that you were not convicted of anything, and you were not only convicted, you were labeled a sex offender, a level 3 sex offender. Marcia Israel said, I'm healing from who? Him gone. And me, I'm not the Almighty Creator. I'm not God. Me don't know what people's spiritual thing is with. My thing is with my God, and me keep it right. That's all. Me not in a people thing. Give him a prayer for healing, so I'm wishing him the best with it. I mean, I say I hope. Me here, this is where it gets dangerous though, because I heard him saying he's going to go get a gun, right? And said I'm gonna go get a gun to protect himself, because he's getting threats now. Ever since Mr. Vegas them bring up him thing about him get catch on phone with underage youth in Jamaica. That exposed, that Mr. Vegas so-called exposed, it wasn't an underage youth in Jamaica. From what I am understanding, it was someone of legal age. But his court case in New York, though, that he's claiming innocence to, that was an underage youth. It was a boy picnic that was 13 years old, happened several times over a 4 to 5 month period. And the court document them. So, you know, Mr. So. With that said, hearing him talking about going to get a gun and all that, not to, him say, I'm going to get a gun, not to hurt nobody, to protect himself, because the threats them are coming in. Now, once you start getting these kind of threats and you're living in Jamaica, I'll be honest with you, I know the road run. He's in danger. He's in danger. And I'm not gonna rejoice if anything happened to him. Maybe some people want me to say, yeah, a pedophile if dead. Then I'm not going to rejoice if anything happened to the man. Me no want no part of sharing it. And I'm definitely not going to be rejoicing. Enough of them people here out there where I talk about, but the man for dead. Kill back them now, kill a fly. They instigate stuff and make other people go get themselves in a trouble. Yes? What I can tell people is this. He's in danger. He is. And he knows it. Anytime you hear the gun talk to protect myself come in, and you have said that power on a platform where I am sure JCF, JDF, whoever they on it, they're watching you. You and them just catch up the other day. That woman, the wicked Torati though, she talked about when him call her, because he said when the picture got out, he got screenshotted, he called who he trusted. But the person when him called is actually the person that was responsible for all of it. So yeah, them tying him up. Frenemies. But that court case in New York, he's in danger. When we hear the woman flawless something, another say, when him first called, and him said, man, I'm caught up, I did something, whatever. She said the first thing that come to our mind is the man have sex with his sister and breed his sister. Now, I don't tune into Mr. Wonderful or Mr. Handsome. I keep thinking about Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank. So I keep saying, damn, Mr. Wonderful. But Mr. Handsome, may I talk. I don't, let me rest my mouth and take a phone call. Yeah. Live on the air with SouFLo.
SouFLo?
Yes, family, what?
Oh, me run network like a thief to come catch your line.
My God.
Oh, you want to hear this whole thing, you know, me have what the woman do there, you know, but you see, we have one thing to say.
Mhm.
No say, no make nobody have secret fear. I never share one little joke, and a joke. Me one, we have two man one time, but when the man go in the yard, or the one, when the neighbor one say, um, you know, let me tell you, because the next man do it. Me say,
Tell
come
me,
up in
tell me,
our
tell me,
face.
tell me.
Me run up in our face and say, girl, let me tell you one thing. Me one have two man. So you can tell me what you know about me. And me deal with that. But let me tell you what, you know, hear the first class, I'm going to go on back and listen to when your life done. But let me say what me have to say.
Mhm.
You see, if it is an underage child, me disagree with it.
It is an
But
underage child. The one in New York is an underage child. The one in Jamaica is a person of consent.
it's all okay, so I thought, because we did one year the first part of
I,
one child over there in the car. You know you have been and received, you know.
mhm.
Me know you have been and received.
Well, you have to go watch the video. Is that? But it's a
No, no, no,
13-year-old
no,
youth.
no, man. Me just want to come to contact you like so me I go sit down and go and list because me don't want you saying both and I tell you and crazy and I give you a damn solution.
All right.
All right, then, son.
All
All
right,
right.
family. Yes. So, all right. So, Mr. Somebody asked, what's the number to call in? The number is 1806. May I write it down here, so 1806 587 587 8953. And it's on WhatsApp. So you can call from any which part free of charge, right? That's the number to call in. Yeah, like I was saying though, somebody said he was 11. Consent at age 11, 11. You mix up. You're not for that story. Live on the air with SouFlo. All right, you have to go turn down your device. As the call come in, so may I hang up on you if that's what you're calling with. The way your mouth dry. Babe, me see you. I can't wait to go drink some water. I bought some exotic imported beer earlier and drink a couple back light and jump in at the pool and stuff. I don't know, I drop asleep. I'm gonna wake up, my mouth dry now. I know my mouth dry. So you see me drinking this water, but neither here nor there. If this brother wants forgiveness, him can't keep going around denying what happened. It better him don't talk about it. It better, because the more him talk about if people could have read, other people like me are going to keep bringing this up. You're live on the air with SouFlo.
SouFlo,
Yes, family. Greetings.
here's the issue I have.
Uh-huh.
Ever this man self-deport or whatever deport he did and got back to Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
He acting around children. He goes to schools and perform for children. He even have boys around him doing devotions with. And this should not be. Under no circumstances, he should not be around people's children. That's the problem I have.
I agree.
Whether him still molesting or not,
Mm-hmm.
he's not supposed to be around children. Period.
I agree. I agree. I absolutely agree. Because we talked about this before on SouFLoTV, where pedophiles actually work themselves into these kind of positions because this is where them fancy tickled. This is where their victims are at that are easily accessible to them. You know? So yeah.
There are pictures of this man on YouTube performing at the
But his claim
devotion. How can you be having devotion with young boys in the morning? Look, just in the evening.
Why the Catholic Church do it all the time, you know, so.
God, back up.
All right, you're breaking up now. I can't hear you anymore. All right, blessing. All right, she have a big point, a very valid point. And me and wifey again was talking about that last night. Boy, this you're live on the air with SouFlo. Hello.
Yeah, SouFlo.
Yeah, what go on?
Bless up, my G. Bless up.
What go on, fam?
Yeah. You're becoming late still, you know.
Yeah, but you hear what go on though. You hear the runnings.
Yeah, man, try to understand. Hold on, no? Yeah, man, I said, me see people come and talk about that, you see me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, Mr. Hanson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so then I said, yo, we don't really find that Jamaica, yo, the man is a sick man, brother. And we have better things to talk about. You see me, I said, we take up our way, I said, the boogery. Yeah, more of the understand who's part of Jamaica, if I was America.
See, you break up, you know, we can't hear you too clear still, you know.
May I say, if I Jamaica or in America, yes, sir.
Same thing happen.
Yeah.
But the case with the little youth it was in the US.
Okay.
It was in the US, and people are saying he's a deportee, but they must say he wasn't deported, himself deported. Like them give you an option, leave the country before them file your deportee papers or whatever. So himself deport himself. Just like send me home, I want to go home, kind of thing. So I must say he's not a deportee, he's self-deported. But me read through the case file, through the court papers, word for word, and it was a little youth, a 13-year-old youth. But the one.
Yeah, well, I need to when I cut him. Me say, like, he never knew, like, I said, never knew, say, it was a 13-year-old.
Yeah, and that's a part of film defense where him did that try to say.
No, Richard. That too fishy.
In him appeal, him did not say that a part of appeal, brother.
that excuse
the youth mislead him and he didn't know say it's a
third. If that's an allegation, say they know you have to go through the right process. You know, DNA and all of them things, testimony. And them things they have a draw out, you know. But at the end of the day, from the evidence, if evidence there, you don't know him in a hot water. But they don't know him can bust up while him can, can get.
No man, him already found guilty. Him already found guilty, brother. Him found guilty and got registered. He's a registered level 3 sex offender in the US. So I left the US and gone to Jamaica. And now him get caught up with something else in Jamaica, which is what brought this back up.
Yeah, so I don't know, but give thanks to the understanding is.
Yeah, man, big up yourself, see?
Yeah, every time.
All right, brother.
I mean, I big up Plush Palace, you know.
See it there?
Melodies.
See it there?
Big up Monday Melodies.
Big up Monday Melodies, don't it? All right, bro. All right. You're live on the air with SouFlo.
Yes, SouFlo.
Yes, sir.
All right. He's a level 3 sex offender, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is like, and a little boy, you see, like him, like, so we don't really list him as a predator.
Boy, that them list him as, you know, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In the United States, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he self-reported himself, etc., etc. Me feel like there should be something of money time cause. And in life, he said me feeling him sick.
Right.
So while he might heal, he should not be around with the little boys.
Right. Because him still a battling demons, them per se, where him say not true.
Exactly, and when him see little boys, him antenna go because he's a predator.
Me agree.
That, like the people are bring allegation, you know, remember say as we said the previous in being convicted, that means they go through the DNA and whatever.
Right.
He's a registered sex offender, so This
True.
is a serious case still, you know. I don't want
May I tell you,
joke.
that's why I take my time and go through the details of the court paper because it is serious. And either way we take it, you see, it could turn out really bad for him, you know. Because you hear the man talk about him have to go get gun now to defend himself because, you know, he might get some serious threats and these things. And you know yards there already.
Yeah, which we all know about. That's why you should have some ministry where protect these things. You know, say, yo, you have man like these in the country, he should be monitored. Then nobody won't
from him blind
threaten him if him gay. Because if him gay like man, that is another episode. But if him gay like little boys, that's a bigger episode.
Facts.
Because right now the question is how many little boys' future him ruined already, and we don't know.
Talk now.
Because him a battle with him demons.
Yeah, and the potential is there to ruin more of them. Because him come out and said plain and clear, say him a battle with demons and him need help.
And we know, as we say, that them 15 act like clown, him have devotion to little boys, and all of these little boys are underprivileged little boys that not have no mother, not have no father, so that make them vulnerable.
Yes. True.
And big up a blogger like you, we take the time out and make a live because the artists, them and everybody need to come out and we need to address this. We don't have to where I wish dead or not, but he need to get monitored. If he's sick, he need to go lock for himself somewhere. Do him thing. If he's a game and he's a game and but leave little boys alone, you know?
100%, brother. 100%. Manners.
Yeah. Fuck. Big up.
Yeah, man. Facts. Straight facts. You know, I'm glad that somebody bring that up. Because as he said, he said it out his own mouth. Him battling demons, him going through stuff, him need help. And nobody can help him with this. Only God alone can fix it. So I might leave it to God. All right. The callers are saying, while you are admitting you're sick and admitting that you need help and healing and all that, you should be kept away from children. He has a defense for that too. His defense is that it's been 10 years or 9 years or however long he's been working in Jamaica around children, and nobody can say that he has touched them or made them feel any kind of that kind of way yet. So in the pan a good part. Live on the air with SouFLo.
SouFLo.
Yes, Famo.
Yeah, man. A long time I watch your program, isn't it?
Manners and respect. Manners and respect. What go?
Yeah. Yeah, me I say. Mr. Handsome, right now, things sticky, you know, but here what we are growing folks and everybody know wrong from right, right?
Facts.
Alright. Mr. Handsome come out the other day and I make a video explaining the situation. But he never, I listened to all his words keenly, but he was trying to paint a picture that the 11-year-old that is now 21-year-old was a female.
Yeah, but here what? There was no 11-year-old that is now 21-year-old. Is a lady has spread that rumor, you know.
But he said it in one of his first video.
No,
he said after Flawless.
Yeah, Flawless I try to say this youth say he's been messing with Mr. Handsome since he was 11. That's what Flawless is saying. But Flawless are the same one who the man say I rub up him money and holding things over his head and all that. See? What can we're not gonna talk about what people here say. Me like to talk about facts.
Yeah.
And the fact
is he's a predator.
The fact but the facts in that particular case there was that the youth where him did an exchange picture and them catch him with the picture. And did I bribe him for the $200,000? The fact is that person was 21 at the time, and the person is 22 now because it happened a year ago.
Okay, so where did the 11-year-old come from? Because
and them I put that on him. But may I try to tell you, sir, there is an underage child that he did mess with and he did get convicted, but that was in the US.
Okay.
The one that happened in Jamaica when they try to get bribed for the money, that person was 21. The person at 22 now.
Oh, the person is not he wasn't messing with the person he was 11.
No, that's way flawless a come say. But here what the man said. Him said, the same youth will try to bribe him for the money.
Yes.
Also told him that these are the people that set him up on him, was flawless and whoever else. Because him and flawless did like this.
Okay.
Right. So the mix-up part there, so they were pin that 11-year-old thing upon him, and I don't know. If the youth there exists, my platform is wide open. Him can call in and come say, yes, I do exist.
Yeah,
me did tell her.
You can call in anonymous man and explain it, man.
Right. But
I need to go back and listen to that video there to come. I know I heard Mr. Anson said the person where them I refer to is a female. But him first portrayed as a female and then down in the video it's a male. So that licked me.
No man.
Like when I try to say, he not try to come out saying he's a fish.
No,
or what?
No man, him say it, man. Remember, you know, him say when we get the phone call, say in their hospital, and me go down there and we see him, him no have no clothes. So him talk him the whole time. So from the beginning, me know say it was a guy. So me I say, okay, the man is gay or bisexual. That's a film thing. The only thing him never do, him never come out and say, listen people, me a battle this homosexual demon, or me want to get rid of it, or me can't get rid of it, but I am gay or I am bisexual. He never professed his sexuality.
Yeah, why not come out and say that?
Well, brother, there's more than one way to say something. I think him said plain enough. So, talk truth. I think him said plain enough.
That's what I get from the video. But in the first part of the video, he wasn't even explaining him like him all, self.
The deception. That's why I say him need to be truthful. If it be truthful, just be truthful and done with it.
And just done with it because we have second dose out here now.
Yes. But
because we know you're a pedophile already, you're charged for it, you admit to it, then you proclaim say you're self-deported. Why you go back to Jamaica and do the same thing? And you're a public figure.
The man say I'm weakness. I am weakness. Yeah.
You gotta get rid of that weakness. That Jamaican youth them not play.
Him in a problem right now, brother. Him in a problem.
Them not play.
That's why I'm very careful about what I say in this, because I said that 11-year-old something that the man already talked about him have to go get gun to protect himself and all this. That 11-year-old something there in Jamaica, that part there is like signing the man the death warrant. You hear me?
Damn.
This is what they are saying, but me not have no factual proof of that. I have factual proof of the 13-year-old in New York, and that was a boy. That was a boy.
So we need a third party to come out now. It's probably send out a text or email or something.
About the one in Jamaica and say, boy, me I mess with him for me.
So we can put the pieces together and say who I lie and who I'm trying to blackmail, who I truth, I try to set up who. Because right now, every hands are pointing at Mr. Anson right now.
Yeah, I'm in trouble.
Because there are known pedophilia. There's no two-way around it.
I'm in trouble.
Nobody, you're supposed to be in a registry in a Jamaica where every community, every job you have a look, it's there.
I've talked about this before too, like our deportees need to be monitored better.
Yeah, monitored better.
Yeah.
There's so much criminal that they're importing to Jamaica.
Yeah, some of them are some serial rapists and are convicted overseas and do them time, you know. And by the time they get deported to Jamaica, they just walk in.
I want to come up because I'm afraid of them look a boy because you hurt somebody with my daughter.
Yeah, brother. Yeah.
They need to get this thing straight because we over here and we are talking about it a lot. You know what I mean? And next thing we're going to hear saying either kill himself or somebody kill him.
That's the vibe what I get.
You need to come back again. We come back again and the person when involved with need to come anonymous and make we know what going on.
True.
It already in the public already.
True.
So the best thing they can do is just fix the story.
True.
Fix the whole narrative, because people are gonna hurt him, or him are gonna hurt himself.
Yeah, because it's just like how you know I talk about 11-year-old. Me hear the story about 11-year-old, but I know who I heard it from. You understand? And it's the same person who he give him whole story where him tell on himself and everything. Him explain exactly
how.
I
know you can't call the person name for your program, but me I support that. I'm not the host.
Manners and respect,
so
brother.
Flawless. She's supposed to get in some trouble too, because there's law to protect Mr. Ansom's right where regards to blackmail and some other kind of legal stuff.
Exactly.
And I mean, she should be careful too.
Exactly.
All right, so we keep watching.
Manners and respect, fam.
Big up yourself.
All right. Boy. Now I hope my brother don't do nothing to himself, and I hope nobody does anything to him. Honestly. Live on the air with SouFlo.
Hi, SouFlo.
Greetings.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing all right.
My concern is that people do not understand the long-term effects of pedophilia on the victims. We sympathize with these people that do this grievous act, and these kids are never the same.
Right.
They are never the same. I don't know what is wrong with these women that are sympathizing with these men that do this, or women that do this. But the children, no matter how much therapy they get, they are never the same. They fight this for the rest of their life.
Facts.
And we need to stop, as Caribbean people, supporting people that do this to our children. It doesn't have to be my child. It could be your child, a neighbor's child, but these are our children. And we do not need to support these people that do these things and sympathize with them and spend our money supporting them, because money is power. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Very powerful. Thank you. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Like I said before, though, I hope this brother don't hurt himself. I got that kind of vibe yesterday, because you know, within his talk, he was talking a lot about death and dying, and if them kill me or all that stuff. And I just, you know, the tongue is mighty powerful, and sometimes in hindsight, when you look at what people are saying, they're actually telling you exactly what's about to happen. You know what I'm saying? And I saw death in there somewhere. So I hope some not gonna hang himself, kill himself, shoot himself, or nothing like that. And I definitely hope nobody don't do nothing to him. But at the same time, people are right. You're around children at a time when, picture this, he's admitting that he has issues and he need help and healing, but he's still interacting with. Live on the air with SouFlo.
SouFlo, what's up?
One family. All is well?
Well, go on the day. You know what's so crazy? Let me tell you something what's so crazy. One day I called Mr. Anson because I'm a fan of his. And I'm in New York, and I spoke with him a couple of days ago because one time, a couple of years ago, I had hired him at a pub party. Right? Huh?
I'm here, we're listening.
Yeah, so I hired him for a party. Right? The guy is very respectful, you know, doing him thing, you know, just as though you're doing your thing, he does his thing because that's you know, that's his job. So I'm talking to him. I called him after the fact that I watched Voice and hear that what she had to say. But that last caller that you just got just now, right?
Right.
He's making a point where he's saying that she's saying that, okay then, she basically, how should I put it now? She basically saying that he is messing with little kids, right? And he's not supposed to do that. If you're a friend, you're supposed to be a colleague, you're supposed to be a sister, you're supposed to be all of that stuff. Why is it that from day one, when he sends you all those information, that's something that you should have grabbed? You should have grabbed him up under your arms, speak to him as a brother, and at the same time, not bring his business out like that.
Yeah. Well.
You understand what I'm saying to you?
Yeah. No.
Because at the end of the day, let me tell you something. People are saying that why the man don't come out and say stuff soulful.
Mm.
The man's scared to come out.
All right.
Always he gonna come out if everybody want to kill him and everybody want this and that.
So wait there. If you have a friend,
as I said, I don't see the pictures and I don't see no video or nothing. So who am I to judge if that it really happened?
Right. So here may I ask you something now. So if you have a friend, right, and that friend is a grown man, and that friend tell us, hey, you know, so me find myself caught up and mess with a underage youth, you would just pull that person to the side and talk to them as brother, or you would expose them?
I'm not exposing nobody. I'm pulling him to the side. Because at the end of the day, you got to realize that where he's at. You have to realize where he's at. If you in America, regardless of what, you can't do shit to him because you're gonna get more time. Because they don't play that shit with people being homophobic or whatever the case may be. They don't play that. But in JA, it's dangerous. They will kill him. They will hurt the man. So at the end of the day, he's saying that when I spoke to him, he's not saying that he's gonna kill nobody. He said, "Listen, my fan, I have to get a license firearm, so I have to protect myself,
right?
In case anybody try to do me anything,
right?
At the end of the day, you can't blame him for that too. And as the young man said before, the young man that called him before me is either two things: either they kill him or he's gonna get fed up and he's gonna hurt himself, which that's not gonna be good. At the end of the day, people can bash him and people can say this and that, but they have to understand that they're in Jamaica. Jamaica is not like America. You understand what I'm saying? When people hear these things and then people hear about underage and all of that stuff,
yeah,
they don't deal with that gay shit. They don't deal with all of that stuff down there. So the least thing they hear about, and that lady at the end of the day, she's really not a friend. She is really not a friend because she's the one that exposed everything. Because remember, she's the one that's coming on air, you know. I sit down and I watch to the end. She gives so much value information about that man. She knows every single word.
Tashawana Mighty says you are a part of the problem, caller.
Case maybe she's a true fan of his. She's a true sister of his. She's a true business partner. So she break down everything step by step. So that will confirm that it really happened. Even though he said, to what I'm getting from him is basically pictures. He doesn't do anything with whoever. He's just saying pictures. Huh?
Caller, you lost me long time, you know. Me have to be honest, you lost me long time. Because if I have a friend, may I please tell all of my friends them say if you're messing with anybody's child or anything, don't tell me, because if you tell me, I'm gonna tell the world. Just like that, plain and simple. I'm not calling you to no corner to discuss nothing, because that's not how my friendship rolls. You understand? I understand the situation that he's in, but it seemed like you sound more concerned about the victimizer than the victims. You know what I'm saying?
No. Because at the end of the day, if it's any of my family, I'm gonna react to it.
But yeah, but
any of my family, I'm gonna react. The whole point about it that I'm trying to make is the where he's at, and
nobody don't care about that.
That has nothing to do with things. I'm talking about his death. At the end of the day, if it was my family or my close friend, he's gonna get fucked up. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying that the environment that he's in, and the way all this situation is coming out in the public, is a life and death situation right there. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, we know that, but you put yourself in that. But we know that. We know that. But he put himself in that.
Agree?
He put himself in.
What I told him. I told him that, listen, you have to blame yourself. You can't blame her. You can't blame nobody else. I told him that. I said, from the minute you press send and send all those information to our next individual, that's it for you. You have to blame yourself. You can't blame nobody else. You put your business out there.
Right.
You put your business out there. That has nothing to do with nobody at all. But the whole point I'm making is because as I said before, I said if it was my family, it would be a wrap. I could tell you that much. So it's not saying that, oh yeah, I'm agreeing with what he's done. Hell to the no. But the whole talk about it is, man, like you're at the end of the day, so cool. You don't want to hear say him get killed tomorrow.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to hear say him get killed tomorrow, but me can tell you say him couldn't be my friend because me I expose him right out. If he was my friend, he would know not to tell me something like that if he was doing something like that. That's the kind of friend that I am. You know what I'm saying? It's not condoned. I'm not going to go cover up your dirty nothing. We're not going to go talk in no corner as no brothers or nothing. Me, I tell the world because I want other people to know what you are doing because you probably left a trail of victims out there. You know what I'm saying?
But
so that part there, what I'm concerned about though, for real, is that 11-year-old thing that's going around. That part that I'm concerned about because we have no proof of that. That's just flawless saying, or the same person who is 22 now tell me say he must sleep with Mr. Handsome from him did at 11 years old. And that is what people are. And this is what people are running with. Where the play it.
She said she have it.
The man said play it and she can't play it.
But he said 11-year-old. She did say that.
That he been messing with him since he was 11?
Yes, she said that the guy told her.
That's right. That's a he said, and that's a he said, she said thing. That part,
no,
right?
She said it. Flawless said it.
Yeah, so that's a he said, she said thing. Flawless said it. That's a he said, she said thing. That don't mean somebody can come tell you right now, say, yo, me and SouFlo sleep together last night. You know, I have my wife want to kick off my head when I wasn't even in that part of the world where they were at. And you're gonna be like,
but is that really making nervous in a SouFlo? And that make him nervous, you know?
Yes,
that's exactly why I'm nervous right now. You know?
Right. I mean, I try to tell people, say we don't have no proof of that. We have no proof. That's why I took the time to go through his case in New York. That there is a pattern of that established. But as far as what she is saying, we don't have no proof of that. So I don't want nobody go with my name and say, SouFlo said it was an 11-year-old in Jamaica.
No, I'm a witness to that. You never say that.
You know?
You never say that. She said it.
Right.
And we're not saying it because we want to say it. We say it because it's there. You can go on YouTube, I'll rewind it and listen to her.
So if you're believing the things that she's saying about him, right? Are you believing the things that he's saying about her as well?
No. I can't believe nothing. I can't believe nothing.
All right, so we now believe what she has about the youth said from him at 11, him do it then.
You know what? Because she probably a user to get to him for something else.
Right.
She probably a user to blackmail him for something
exactly.
To make herself look good.
Exactly.
Because you could hear some animosity in our voice when she talks, you know. You can hear that they have something going on.
Right. When the money dry up and it don't run your way no more and you can't control the situation anymore, it's time to kill the milk, the golden calf. Right?
Yeah, so you don't hear how much $1,000 and get off of YouTube.
Yeah, man. Off of Facebook and things. Yeah, man. And people want a part of that. You know, and the people that are close to you.
He said that she used to control at least half of that.
She was the one that used to control all of it at one point. And tell him how much we take out.
Yeah.
Like put him on allowance.
So much, she asked him, why am I take out so much?
Right. When he finally took charge of his own money, it was an issue now. So now me I go bust out your secret.
Yeah.
Right. But it's not only bust out your secret, me I go add some more spice, but me sure for make them kill you now. You understand?
Yeah, because they have a shutting down period.
Right.
As I said before, me telling me fuck himself up. At the end of the day, when you press send on your phone, that's a done deal.
You have issues with me if you go sort out still.
We're more. I hear what she said. She said he told her that he has a problem. He has a problem with jerking off on the phone for you know, like you know, him like to jerk off the woman. So I mean, if it's the other way around. He said him like to jerk off for woman. That's what she said. Him tell her.
And that's how I go. And his track record is showing that that's not how it goes. Because every time him get catch on any electronic device so far, it's been with a male. That's
so cool. You see the picture of them?
This is why, no, I didn't see the picture of them. I heard a graphic description of the pictures. And when you go through his court papers, there's also a description of what was on that computer that was seized by the police then in New York.
No, no, man, talk about the thing we're going on with Jamaica.
No, and that's what I'm saying. But he said it was a guy.
He said total mouth is a guy?
Yes. Him said total own mouth is a guy. That's why the caller earlier that said, boy, so I wonder if he might try saying bisexual. Mr. Brother, there's more than one way to say something, and he said it pretty clearly. Him said is a guy.
So let me ask you an honest question. Do you feel like if he had came out and said he was bisexual, people would have say something different?
But no, but that's what he said. If me come out and tell you, say, me and this youth up on the phone and we are doing thing, and the first thing you're gonna say is, but SouFlo have wife and picnic. So how him and man up on phone? So he's bisexual then.
True.
Right. So right, that's why him no need to spell it out. Him no need to spell it out.
But at the end of the day, you have to SouFlo, you gotta understand, and everybody can read it, the line like we, and everybody read along the line. People would rather them come out and say it.
People just want to tickle their fancy. People know exactly what the man say. The man playing out say him involved with man, and him have a problem, and that's what he's praying for healing from, and an issue that him want to get rid of, which is the common thing in our culture. Prayer with the homosexuality, prayer with the homosexual demon out of you and all this. I mean, I say he's really into men. Maybe he's bisexual and just like men and women.
Yeah, because he have a fiance.
Exactly. Now that we just talked about earlier. So may I say, but then again, that could very well be his beard. He have a fiance and he has multiple children by multiple different women, right?
Yeah.
Yes, and he has a fiance right now as well. But yet still you're on the phone exposing yourself, and I watch other men expose for themselves and play with each other, watch each other. About the man business that. So you're either bisexual or you're gay and you're hiding using a female fiance as a front.
I feel like he might. I feel like he like pussy, but I feel like he like to be able to go the other way as well. I feel like he's bisexual.
Boy, I feel business that his sexuality don't mean nothing to me on this conversation.
Not at all.
Yeah, what really means something to me is the case in New York and where he's at now and how that all set up and stand right now. That is what my focus is. Him want game gay all day till it gay kill him. That's a film business. Me not concerned about that.
Hold on, did they really file papers in court down there?
No, this is a court case from New York. I have all the documents from the New York court case.
Oh no, I didn't know about that. Okay.
The one in Jamaica, there's no court case. They were trying to bribe him, and he did pay out some money.
But the thing is, you remember the guy when he said him pay $1,000, and then the guy ended up going to the hospital. Who is that guy? And then he ended up having to bring clothes and.
Okay, all right. So listen, $100,000 it was. $200,000 is how much they wanted from him. So him and a youth, I do things on the phone, right? The youth screenshot everything, and then the youth start send it back to him and say, I know who you are, right? I'm Mr. Handsome, you're famous, everything. Send me this much money or release all this to the public. All right, he's in a bind. The first person he calls who he think he could trust was that person who is so-called exposing him now.
Yeah.
All right. He paid up the money. He paid up the money to have it all hush hush and go away. A couple of weeks later, he said that person got into an accident. Guess who the person called? Him. The same person that was bribing him got into an accident and had no one else to call but call him. Him said him drive go down there. because now because they had not met before. So now he wants to see this person, who this person is. And him say when him reach down there and him see the pitiful condition him in a naked, no clothes, no nothing. Him said the person even beg him, said me not have nothing, not even underwear. And him go buy underwear for the youth. The same youth, you know.
Yeah.
So it's the same youth they're talking about. And it's the same youth now that his people are saying, Alai Matel, the youth said, he might deal with him since he was 11.
But you know what's so crazy, so far? You know what's so crazy? She said, how is it that the same guy that him pay money to, she see him and the guy together in a car. But she didn't explain that part.
Me don't know. Me not go off and he said, she said. Because she's. Me not go off he said, she said. Yeah. Me not go off he said, she said. I definitely see her agenda based on what everything that's been said. I've watched her video. I've watched Mr. Vegas' video. I've watched his videos. I've watched all the parties involved. I've listened to all of them. And I come with the court papers. So based on all that, I see the vindictiveness in what she's doing, and I'm not going with the whole he said, she said, he said, she said. Her goal is to crucify him.
That's the whole point that I'm trying to make to you. But you make it clear it better for me. Thank you.
All right.
That's it. I'm on the side. I understand clearly what you say. You clear it up better for me.
All right. We'll move on and take a next caller here.
All right, man. Be safe, bro.
All right. Bless up. Lord on the roughy. And I'll set my wife for me. Live on the air with SouFlo.
Hi, SouFlo. How are you?
Greetings. How you doing?
I'm okay. SouFlo, why you entertaining that lady?
Boy, listen up. She had some. I tell you the truth. I can tell that she knows the parties involved. So
yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. So, but sometimes you play fool to catch wise, and you know you keep. I have my strategy. I was working on something here.
Sometimes working on things is just not working, you know.
So it go.
Because, like, you know the worst part about this? It's something I don't understand about. I'm not Jamaican. My husband is.
See.
And one of the things I don't understand about Jamaican people is how they prefer to coddle the person where to do the crime instead of the victim. Because people feel sorry for the men. And nobody's talking. I'm not even talking about this new 11-year-old, but I looked at and I read through the court files. He's guilty of that.
Right.
He admitted to it. They don't understand. Like, you know what this case reminds me of? It reminds me of Trump. Like, you know when Trump say that he won with the uneducated and they all went wild? That's what that shit reminds me of, because it's like he's taking these people for a fool because he's saying he didn't do this, but he went to court and admitted to it.
Right.
Because if you're saying that you didn't know this child was 13 years old, that means that you did what they said you did.
Right. Right.
And it's so sad. It's really sad because I saw a video Mr. Vegas posted with him going into a school and my jaw just dropped. Pedophiles don't change. It's in their blood. It's just so sad because I can only imagine if it's my child, and I don't understand if these people, they don't put themselves in like this parent's shoes. Because I can only imagine if somebody touched my child, like that would be the end of it. Like, you're not going to prison.
Fox.
Like which like they would give their life away because no one is like the lady that called earlier and that was talking about it's the woman that she was basically trying to say something about her that talked about the effect of this on the children. Like, no one is talking about the kid. about how he might turn out to be, you know, not straight.
Sure.
Because of what somebody did to him, and how he's gonna have family life, with all these things like you're giving him more.
Yes, but end of the day, us talking about the victim, I mean, that's not gonna do nothing for the victim. We're actually here, you know. So, I mean, we can't keep talking about the victim now. What good would that do? What good would that do? If anything should come out of this, it should be A, get Mr. Hanson the help that he's asking for and praying for. B, keep him away from children. C, monitor him because he has issues that he has admitted to and a proven track record of doing certain things. See?
The Jamaican government about the record
Yeah, now you're breaking up. I don't know what happened to your phone. You changed.
Can you hear me?
No, yes, clearly now.
They need to have a registry for sex offenders.
In Jamaica, I think they do, but I don't think they're monitored as how in the US, how they're closely monitored here.
It's not because it's not serious, obviously.
Right.
Anyway, so thank you for talking about these things.
All right, family. Big up to you and your husband, yes?
Yes.
All right, one love. All right, I'm going to take one more call for the evening. You are live on the air with SouFlo.
Hello, good night.
Yes, you're live on the air with SouFlo.
Yeah, I'm gonna address a thing here. You see that situation that they're talking about. Not the main problem is the government of Jamaica. When these people get deported and come in the country, they need to make sure that these people are properly monitored. Because the same way when they're in America, they stop them. They can't live close to school and parks where kids are.
Correct. The cut off family. All right, lost that call. One more call. All right, live on the air with SouFlo.
I'm listening to that lady who's talking. Who's part of the problem? Because you know when you know something like this, you have to let it out there. Because just calling this man aside and talking to him, okay, and not telling the public what's going on. You are giving him avenue to go and molest other children.
Absolutely.
It has to be true. Now, this is your friend too. Hear what she said, it was her family, it would have been effed up and stuff like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You can't, because I have been working with children, and if a child comes to my daycare and has bruised, I don't report it, and they find out that the child has been abused, I am going to be arrested for keeping that information quiet.
Right.
You know, so we have to stop being part of the problem.
Right. We have this thing about us, right? That it's, and this is common in our culture. As long as it's not me and my family, then it must be handled that way. If it's me and my family, then the whole place needs to burn down. You know?
And that is what in the Caribbean, especially in the Caribbean.
Yes.
Because a lot of children are being abused, and neighbors see it and other people see it, and they don't say anything.
Yes. True. Because it's not
the
theirs.
Church family.
Yes.
The children go to church and the pastor's abusing them, and they turn their job away. But next to their family, and the truth will be out there. We need to stop. We need to stop in the Caribbean. We need the village drama and stuff like that. People know about it, but they don't do anything about it.
Yes, this is commonplace in Caribbean culture. If it's not my house that's on fire, I don't really business, kind of thing. And And I'm willing to forgive anybody and all that. But if it's my picnic, may I kill somebody. And I'm telling everybody, you know. And that's why I said to her, like, you lost me with that one. Because I couldn't be that friend. My friend would know, not to tell me that if that's going on in their life, because they would know I am going to expose them.
Likewise. But just see, another thing is this is why the young people cannot trust us. Because you know, the children look at us and they can see through the glass and they can see our facade.
Yes.
And stuff like that. So this is the whole thing. You have children, my children are grown. But at the same time, I tell my children, I say, look, if you know something, tell me. If you're afraid to tell anyone, all when my children are growing up, I tell them this all the time. Because I say, hey, I will take care of you. And I am going to protect you. And I've been to school. I don't disrespect the teachers because you have to be careful. It's just when you're kids. But you have some teachers who really try to dumb children down. And I wasn't one of those parents to accept nonsense.
Right.
But at the same time, you have to go about it in a respectful way. Because you cannot go and demonize the teacher and then your children come back. You have to go to those same teachers, so they have to respect them. You have to know how to do it. Nice talking to you, my friend. Take care.
All right, thank you. Blessings, thank you. All right, now take no more call for the evening. It's 2 hours long. We're going to shut it down right here. All right, let me just say in closing, let me close this video out by saying this. Like I said before, the purpose of this video is not to demonize, it's to bring truth out, right? And as you can see, there are a lot of people that are concerned with the position that Brother Man is in. Still around a lot of children and stuff like that. And you know, poverty is a hell of a thing. And there are a lot of people that make their money and they groom and they use it to prey on. And the little youth them start, oh, me can buy your shoes, come on, me can't buy no shoes for you, daddy gone. All right, me buy your school uniform, me pay your school fee, me this and me with that. And it looks like it's charity. It looks like it's charity when in reality what it is they're reeling that victim in closer and closer, you know, groom them 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then them start doing them thing. This is a typical common thing that happens. To see Mr. Handsome actually cry or not cry, but say, somebody made a meme of him crying, but to see him go through the motions and say, yes, I have an issue, I need help, only God can fix this. That's why I'm a prayer. I'm try everything, it don't work. May I leave it to God, only God can fix this. Okay, I get that part. First part is accepting that you have something wrong with you. That's why I went for the court case. Because if you're going to accept that there's something wrong with you or you've done wrong and you need help, then you can't go around saying, it didn't really happen. You're in denial, which means you might repeat those same behaviors again. People want to see him take a more proactive stance to this. Like, take away yourself from around people picnic. You can do your comedy and all that. People are going to laugh. It's comedy. They're going to support it, especially those who don't know your background. But if you know you have issues, take away yourself from around people picnic. You take away yourself. Don't do anything don't organize no football game, track game, bouncy house, play day, none of that stuff. Don't be around nobody's picnic, nothing. Take away yourself from around the picnic them and get yourself real help. You understand? And that's all, and I'm going to leave that right there like that. I hope the brother is not hurt, as in somebody go take him life or him take him own life. Them say when not dead, don't dash it away. I've seen people go to the depths of hell and come back from it a brand new person over years and time. Some people say pedophiles don't change and you can't change. I don't know. I'm not God and I'm not trying to play God in anybody's life, right? The truth is out there. Let it be what it is. And I wish him all the best. And yes, the victims, we would need a whole other video for that. Okay, so I didn't want to talk about the victims on this video. I just wanted to air out, because the victims is a whole next issue that we cannot just talk about in like a 5-minute, 10-minute thing. So I'm going to leave it right there. So, manners and respect to each and every one of you that tuned in. You know the truth now. There it is. Are you going to go offer him words of encouragement? Are you going to go tell him, listen, bro, take away yourself from road, sir, or are you going to just completely cut him off and left him out there? I would advise you to go. You can be a part of it, the help. Advise him. Give him some good advice, right? All right. Don't leave him desperate, because desperate people do desperate things. Go and give him some good advice. All right. And we'll catch you on the next video right here on SouFLoTV. Bless up on yourself, people. Take care of your picking them. Keep your eyes on your children. And don't take nothing from nobody about nothing about them. You know what I mean by that. I'm out. Peace.